Host Eric,
Yes, Maria?
can you share more of your wisdom with me?
Sure. What would you like to know about?
My feelings.
Well, your feelings are where the moistness of your tenders lie.
Oh. How moist should my tenders be?
Less than wet. Somewhere between dry and wet.
What about damp?
No, it's a little too moist, Maria. It's too much moisture for your tenders. If you want to learn about your feelings, you got to
What?
learn to distinguish
What's
between
too moist?
damp. Damp is too moist.
Did you hear my phone call?
No. I was having a conversation with me being both me and you. I didn't know what you were doing. You were saying lots of nice
Sorry,
things.
yeah,
You were like,
I did take that.
Oh, Host Eric, please tell me how more of your wisdoms.
and then I would tell you something, and you go like,
Ooh, that's really smart.
it was like that, pretty much. That was our conversation. Yeah,
Okay, I do sound like that, so
you do, for sure.
that's accurate.
Yeah. You were asking me about your
You
feelings.
keep cutting out though. I'm gonna leave and then come right back.
Okay, I'll put my video quality on poor. I'm putting my video
I was a
quality
cat
on.
for Halloween.
Oh, you were, huh?
Yeah.
And you
Yeah, I
haven't
found
taken
my
those
ear.
ears off since Halloween?
No.
That's some dedication to your costume. I appreciate that. Your hair must be
Thank
filthy
you.
by now.
Oh yeah. That's why I had to put it up.
Have you ever considered
That's the other
dreadlocks?
thing. I feel like SE people, do you ever get uncomfortable with SE users? Because I feel like they see everything on, like they see my dirty fingernails sometimes, and like they can see all the details of everything that I'm wearing, or like how I look, or like if they come into my bedroom, they might see that it's not that clean sometimes,
Show it to
and
me.
they just
Let
see
me
it all.
let me see what it looks like.
Well,
That's not that messy.
okay, wait.
That's just a little untidy. I don't see any piles of filth or
Yeah,
biohazards.
no. I got this picture the other day. I thought it was inspiring. Do you see it?
I'm a little concerned that guy's gonna hit that big black square.
People, whenever I show this picture, I just bought it, but whenever I show it to people, they say the same thing, that they're concerned, because
The guy's gonna.
it makes you feel something, and that's what art's supposed to do, is make you feel something, a certain way. And it made me feel a certain way.
Which way was that?
Like, it's just like a meaningful picture, like it's relatable. But he's like trying to stay in the good.
I disagree. I think he's diving headlong into the evil. He's like, fuck yeah, I'm diving headfirst
No,
into
no,
this
no, no.
shit.
He's trying to be good though. Like, he's in the good, and he's got some struggles because life is hard sometimes.
What do you think?
And
What do you
he
think some
might
of his
be in
personal
the
struggles are?
darkness.
What's going on in that guy's life? Is he having relationship problems? Is he having trouble at work? What's going on with him?
He probably just has like, he doesn't understand the world because the world doesn't make any sense.
Yes, Kimberly.
And
No, I'm just chatting on the internet. She said, was I yelling for her?
were you yelling?
I think she must have heard a neighbor or something like that. I don't know. She's got bad hearing anyway.
I think that's probably what's gonna. I don't know, but like he wants like the best of both worlds, because sometimes in the goodness
Do you think he's embarrassed by having to wear those Speedos?
What even is good and bad? What?
Is he embarrassed because he has to wear Speedos?
No.
You think he wants to wear those?
He probably
Speedos,
just
huh?
wants to relate to both the black and the white.
Both the Speedo and the regular swim shorts?
I'm not sure.
Concurrently.
What?
See, the black square represents regular swim shorts. And the Speedos are the black against the white of that represent Speedos. It's really a swimsuit ad.
No, it's not. Did it not make you feel a certain type of way?
Show it to me again. Let me look at it again.
Wait, with the light. Wait, hold on. Does it make you feel a certain type of way?
I mean, I like the composition of it. To be serious for a moment, it's got good composition, and like is the whole thing pull it back a little bit further. I kind of wish it were cut along the lines of the black, like vertically, you know?
Yeah. So yeah, there's not like a border.
Yeah, but maybe if you framed it like that, I don't know. Who made it? Did you make it?
No, I found it on this art website. But I found it like a couple years ago, and I always, whenever I went on that site, I always just liked it because I don't know.
Because you made meaning about it.
I felt for the guy, you know.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing.
What?
If you make meaning about shit, then it becomes part of your identity to a certain extent, you know. So it's like.
You think?
Yeah, sure. I mean, take for example. A YouTube video I watched a long time ago by this lady whose name I don't really remember. It starts with a W, her last name, I don't know. She's some like European chick. And she said in it that ENTPs and ENFPs actualize externally. And that struck me as very insightful, and I thought about it a lot. And since then I've referred to that comment by that lady in that video many times. In other words, that piece of media that she made, that one little chunk of it anyway, that 1 10-second chunk or whatever, became part of my identity in the sense that it frames how I understand myself and my behavior. So in that regard, it became part of my identity because I choose to think about it and make further additional meaning about it. And because I link it to that lady and that video, it still gets credit for being something independent of me. Whereas if you forget where you got an idea, then it just sort of becomes part of you and you just, you know.
So we get it from our environment, as in like what our relationships with other people and what we see and what we like experience.
Well, like in this conversation, take this conversation right here for an example. When you walk away from this conversation, the vast majority of it within not very long will be lost to your memory. Like, and mine too. So most of the specs of this conversation, I'm not going to remember them, you're not going to remember them, they won't make any particular impact. But there might be something that happens in the conversation that you find particularly memorable. And it could be something totally different than what I would find memorable. It's hard to say, you know. It depends on how you resonate shit. Like, are you an ENFP? What are you?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
So
ENFP.
then you've got a similar relationship with SI that I do, which means you pick certain little bits out of experiences and decide that that's the axis of this experience. That's where I'm going to build the meaning around. And then at that point, it ceases to become really an actual experience and it becomes part of your meaning making. Because we're not very strong SI users, we don't remember very detailedly. We'll just remember useful bits here and there, or stuff that we like, stuff that resonates with us. And then we'll build off of that. Because we're ideational by nature. If you're an NE Dom like me, then you never leave well enough alone. It doesn't matter. Like, I heard that lady say that idea. I thought it was a great idea, but That was just the beginning of my relationship with the idea. As I proceeded to then think, well, what does that mean to be actualized? And what does it mean to actualize externally? And why? How could I better describe that? Or how could I more thoroughly explain it? Or whatever. So I think that's what happens. Is we launch our thinking from either SE or SI. We see something in the world and build off of it, or something in the world we see sparks an association in our memory. Like that palm tree. It reminds me of the time I got stuck up the palm tree or whatever. And then I remember after that, it was Bobby tossed me up a motorcycle helmet. So that's why, to me, palm tree associates with motorcycle helmet. But only NE-DOMs really do that kind of super disparate associative stuff.
That sounds familiar. I mean, I'll see something that someone else does, and then I'll, like, think about it and manifest it and want that to become in my own life. If that makes sense. I thought SI I use more, like, when I'm thinking back about a situation and thinking how I feel about that situation. Like, replaying the memory in my mind. Not really living in the moment now and taking in the experience right now, but I'm going to be thinking about this conversation later using my SI, but I don't have SE, so I'm not fully in the moment right now. Does that make sense?
Yeah, but the other thing is, when you think about it later, you're going to be reflecting about, I guess, how much you feel. Which is interesting to me.
Yeah, but do you do that too, or is that coupling my FI into
That's your
SI?
FI. I think about what stuff means, all the arguments that splay out in either direction from a given set of claims or whatever. That's what I think about. But it's weird because I understand how important it is to know what you prefer, and I have a hard time with that.
Because you're just so open-minded to everything. Like, I don't know what's...
It's not that. It's that
a lot of things, unless I have, like, a true held value towards it, like, I'm very apathetic towards a lot of things. Like, I'm apathetic to, like, some of the words that I say and, like, things that I do and other things that happen to me. It's because it's, like, I don't know if I truly have a opinion about a lot of things or care about a lot of things. Is that an E? Like apathy because you just like see sides to every side of
I mean,
everything.
seeing all the sides, seeing all the various sides is definitely an any thing. Apathy or not caring, I think what you're saying is using your tool function, you've successfully and correctly determined that about most things you don't really have any strong preference or feelings, which is normal because the universe is vast and we care about only a tiny fraction of it. So it sounds to me like your tool function is working properly and telling you, I don't really care about that. That's what your tool function should tell you, is if you're coming across anything new or some sort of stimuli input, data input, then you're gonna react to it by knowing whether you like it, whether you find it precious and ought to do some sort of harm prevention towards it or pursue it or something, or whether you dislike it and want to avoid it. It's like ENTPs are the type of people who will say, oh, I could do that job, and take on this job that they absolutely despise and sign on for 6 months or something, and after a week realize, oh my god, I fucking hate this. But it's too late because we didn't even consider how we felt about the thing before we made the decision. It's an odd polar, not knowing what you prefer.
Or did you not know that you would hate the situation before doing it? Is it that you just didn't think about it?
It's
and
that
you would know that previously, or you'd think like, I don't know if I would hate it or not until I'm actually doing it. Because that's how I am. Like, I don't know if I would like something. I have to do it to figure out how it works and like if I like it or not. I can't just guess to say I've never done this before, but I know I would hate it. No, like I have to do it, and then I would know I hate it.
I mean, I think that it's a default position of saying, well, my feelings definitely aren't going to matter because feelings never matter. So now that we've eliminated worrying about feelings at all, let's look at the other things related to this thing. Because of course my feelings aren't going to matter because that's dumb. And then you realize, oh, actually that's kind of the only thing that matters here. I am hating every minute of this. And the fact that I can do it, and the fact that it paid pretty well, and the fact that whatever else, blah, 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 are irrelevant in the face of the reality. I fucking despise this. It takes a long time for ENTP to necessarily to realize just how much they hate something, too. They'll persist in going, well, I don't have any good reasons to hate this. So, therefore, I don't. Except you do.
That you do.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So in that sense, you know, I've come to appreciate the significance of my blind spot. And the nice thing about a blind spot is it's kind of safe generally to work around it. Like, I genuinely do make better decisions with my thinking than my feelings. When I get my feelings up in the mix, I can sometimes make poor decisions. So trying to ignore them or push them to the side when evaluating things is wise for me because I'm so bad at them that I can't even use them in basic ways well, basically, to make decisions anyway.
I feel like I have to go with my feelings, and if I just do it like based on what logically makes sense and what doesn't like line up with my inner intuition feelings towards it, then I make the wrong decision.
Yeah, well, that would be...
So it's interesting, like, it sounds like I should just go with the logical answer for it, but it really is not the right answer if I
No, it's not.
don't
For
follow
you,
my
you're going to make
feelings.
bad decisions when you try to use TI conditional logic for things. So you go, well, but this person said this, but he also said this other thing that contradicts, and that doesn't make sense, so I'm going to go with the other choice. But you really don't like the other choice and you like the first choice, then to you, the fact that he contradicted himself is irrelevant. Who cares? People contradict themselves sometimes. You know, you don't need the narrative to be...
Yeah, you got to get certain vibes from people, certain energies from them, and sometimes you just know how things are without actually knowing, you know.
Right. Yeah, I try to... I sometimes get FE vibes. Like, I can tell... For example, I'm pretty good at reading a room if I'm performing on stage or something like that. Mm-hmm. If I'm talking to a classroom even, like being a teacher. I'm good at reading the energy of the room. Like, I can tell when the kids are getting restless and it's time to switch topics in the classroom. I can tell when, you know, people are losing interest, stuff like that. So I'm pretty good at reading that kind of FE stuff. But that's very different than the individual relationship FI kind of stuff that you're talking about. I'm much less successful at... I can get a vibe of like shady. I can read when people are shady and I can't be trusted. I can read that. But beyond that, I don't really have much nuance in reading individual people and how they feel about things.
That's interesting, because, yeah, I prefer just to be one-on-one with someone, talking to them, because then I can understand them, but as, like, a group as a whole, it's harder for me. Like, if I'm talking to one person, I mean, I guess a couple people too, but, like, just relationally, I can tell if someone's being, like, fake or not, or if they're genuine, or if, like, they're just being authentic, or if they're telling me the truth. I don't know. But with a whole group of people, I don't have FE.
Right.
I'll just put it that way.
It's interesting comparing ENFP and ENTP because it highlights so well the differences between TI and FI and where we can be similar. Like, ENFP and ENTP can both sit down and play, let's make up a story about Swords and Dragons or whatever, in which there's no TI particularly involved or FI involved necessarily. It's just sort of, there may be some sort of FI shading of the story or TI shading of the story, but by and large it's just sort of pure NE, you know? And they can be essentially indistinguishable in that context. But then when you start talking politics, things go off the rail. That's where ENTPs and ENFPs fight, is about politics. The ENFPs are like, but you've got to feel the importance of these people who are suffering. And you go, yeah, but you're advocating that we take a specific action. And the fact that people are suffering is not reason to take your action, might be reason to take some action. It's like that's where fights start happening. Because they go, yeah, but if your heart's in the right place, you'll agree with me. And I'll go, yeah, but if you actually want what you think you want, you won't agree with you.
Yeah, I'd probably go with the feeler's point of view.
Yeah.
But it's interesting, like, FE isn't, like, your feelings towards something. It's the feelings of the group and just, like, the people as a whole.
It's concerned
That's
about...
a weird concept to me.
It's concerned about the perception of others. It's countervalued by you, but you can do it probably pretty well when you decide you want to. However, you hate being critiqued on it, probably. So if I tell you, like, that's not socially graceful, you needed to say something nicer or whatever, you're going to feel like, fuck you, that shit doesn't matter. Fuck you and fuck you again,
I mean, I've had to work on my FE a lot because I'm a waitress, and each table you have to act slightly different depending on who you're serving. So it was hard for me at first, but it's definitely helping my FE a lot. Because, I mean, my natural state, I don't care really what people think. Like, I have to just be authentic to Maria.
Who tips
and do
best?
What I feel is right.
Who tips best?
Middle-aged bougie men.
I heard from a waiter friend of mine one time that the people who tip best are unattractive men on dates. Because they're trying to impress their date. They're trying to impress their date by tipping big.
Just men, probably in general. Like older men.
Right.
I guess maybe on dates. I haven't really noticed that in particular, though.
What kind of restaurant do you work at? Is it a dinner date restaurant, or is it like a Denny's, or like what?
It's called The Pub. It's just like this tavern. They sell British food and a bunch of beer.
I see.
Like, yeah.
Is it a fair...
It's like the average meal is probably $12-13.
Do most people go there eat, or do most people go there just drink beer?
Well, when I close after like 9, people are just in there to get drinks until like 2 a.m. and people like get tables and like maybe an appetizer, but the rest of the time, if they're sitting at a table, not the bar, they'll get food.
Which tips better, the drinkers or the eaters?
Both.
Both tip well?
I don't like to sell just drinks. I don't like to close because they get all of these drinks, and then at the end I have to tip out to the bar like the percentage of how much they drink, and I feel like they don't get as much. If people are going like to just like drink a lot, they're gonna go sit at the bar anyway. So if people are sitting at a table and they're just getting drinks, usually they only get 1 or 2, and then the bill's only, like, if there's 2 people, then like $30.
Are you snooty with people who just order like cheap ass shit?
That order what?
If people just order like cheap, like somebody comes in, they go, I'll have water too, and then they each order like the cheapest thing on the menu. Do you get snooty with them?
No, I mean, internally I'm upset, but I'm nice to them.
You don't reveal that?
It's fine.
Oh, big spenders.
No. Big spenders, no. Yeah, older people don't usually tip me well. Older women, they don't usually tip me. I mean, not that great. I feel like, which is weird, because people my age, I feel like, don't have a lot of money, but they tip me pretty well. I think they understand the struggle, so they want to give me money.
I pretty much always tip
like
20%.
Women my age, I've realized, What?
I always tip 20% pretty much. Occasionally, if I'm not happy, I'll tip 15%. But usually it's if I'm not happy with the food, though. It has nothing to do with the service.
What if you have really bad service?
I'd probably tip 15 or 10. I don't know. I had never. I can't remember the last time I tipped 10%, but I might have done that once or something. If I was unhappy, really unhappy with the service. It takes a lot for me to be unhappy with the service. Actually, it only takes one thing. If you make me wait a long ass time to refill my drink, it pisses me off. If I'm sitting there with an empty drink going like, I want more drink. Where's my fucking drink? Then it pisses me off.
I want more drink. No, I keep their glasses full. The thing when I first got hired there, I think I was just too helpful. Now I give them more space, which I understand because whenever I go to a restaurant and the waitress is too helpful to me, I get really like annoyed and just like uncomfortable. Like, why do you keep watching me?
Yeah, we always critique the FE of the waiter or waitress afterwards, good or bad. You know, like too much FE is something that I'll sometimes say, like right after the initial contact with the waitress. I'll just turn her good. Too much FE, and you know, because it's just like I don't need your hello. How are you? Would you like this? Yeah, you know, it's like I don't need all that.
No, I'm a laid back server. Hey guys, how you doing? Let me get you the most expensive beer on the menu.
Mm-hmm.
And
Do you
some bacon
suggest
wrapped
things? Do you
eggs.
try to upsell? You know what's
Yeah,
really
I'm
good
getting
today?
better
The
at
lobster.
it.
The lobster is delicious.
The salmon. We don't have lobster, but I do try to sell the salmon because it is good. And the expensive appetizer dates. Bacon wrapped dates are so good. Have you had a bacon wrapped date?
I have. Kim made them one time. They're
Really?
okay. You gotta get the bacon crispy, or else it's kind of weird, kind of gooey.
And it had goat cheese in the middle of them?
I don't know if it did or not. Goat
You
cheese.
should come to the pub.
How far away is
It's
it?
in Ohio, though.
That's pretty far. It's a long way to go for a meal. I've been to Ohio before.
We've got the best fish and chips in the United States.
Really? In the whole United States, the
Yeah.
pub has the best fish and chips.
Yeah. That's our claim, anyway.
What's your secret? Shh, you'll never
I
tell.
don't know. No, I won't. We got some good items. You should come on down. I'll sell you a wheat beer.
I don't drink alcohol.
Um,
I do other drugs, but I just don't drink
Well-
alcohol.
well, that's probably a good thing. Alcohol's poison to your body.
Yeah, well, I'm too much of a drunk. That's why I can't drink alcohol. I'm a big fan of alcohol. Too much of a fan of alcohol. So I had to quit.
Too. I feel like when I drink, I go too hard. So there are moments. Look at this picture. He's trying. He's in the white. He's not drinking anything. He's staying afloat.
He's diving right into a tall glass, though.
That's just how you're perceiving it. But he's in the white.
Are you wearing overalls?
No, I'm wearing a tank top. I've been really trying to work out though. Okay, there's not too much of a muscle right there right now, but
Well,
I'm just gonna do the Tough Mudder.
you're not one of those. You're not
I'm
one
gonna
of
do
those
tough
girls who
mudder
wants to get all
fist.
muscly, are you?
Yeah, I do.
You want to get all muscly like those weird-looking chicks who go like this and have all those muscles.
Well, there's not. I mean, wait, no.
I don't see anything at all there. It just looks like a flat line that doesn't move at all when you flex it. I think you need to lift some
Wait,
heavier
no, it
weights,
does. Do you
maybe.
see the light?
I mean,
Do you
yeah.
see how it moves?
Oh yeah, I see it. I see it. There it is. Yeah. You've been working on the 5 pound
Wait,
weights, haven't you?
but it's gonna get better. I've just started working out my arms, but they're gonna one day be good.
Well, be careful with your elbows. My elbows as an 47-year-old man I have, as they call it in Mexico, el bol del teniso, or tennis elbow. So, for example,
Why?
well, because I did too much elbow shit. I think it has to do with playing guitar a lot, but I don't know. I did
What else qualifies as elbow shit?
like anything that involves,
Besides,
if you're trying to lift shit like at a distance. For example, let's say I reach over something and try to lift it up like this, but it's heavier than this. That's gonna put strain on my elbow because I'm not using I'm using my elbow to lift rather than my arms or my waist, or my legs or whatever else. So if you're careless in a lot of like labor stuff, like building shit or doing construction kind of shit, your elbows take a lot of strain. And the other thing that's weird that puts a lot of strain on my elbow is fingering the guitar frets. It stretches or uses this muscle or tendon or something right here, and then that gets sore. So I don't know. I got elbow problems. I'm just saying, better not to overexert yourself.
wait, okay, to get like the actual muscle that's visible, um, do you have to use weights or can you just do push-ups? Because I've been doing push-ups and, let's see how far that got me.
I think you could just do push-ups. You just have to
Not
do
that
a lot of
far.
them. The point is to make it so that your arms are really tired. Like, oh, I can't even do one more. If you get to that point, then you're working out your muscle and will grow.
Okay.
Yeah. My muscles aren't very
Is
big
swimming
either.
good for it?
How tall are you?
5'8"
So that's reasonably tall.
and a half.
5'8.5".
Yeah, I'm pretty tall.
The taller you are, the less big your muscles are going to look. Because they're longer.
Really?
Yeah, shorter muscles look bigger when you work them out. Longer muscles don't really show as much bulk.
So I could be just as strong, but have littler muscles.
Well, they're just longer. It's like it's just spread out over a longer distance. They're not even littler exactly. It's just less bulked up because they're longer muscles.
I have I have ceiling.
Who's that?
She's an
Sigourney Weaver?
inspiration to get stronger.
Is that Sigourney Weaver?
Yeah, it's Ripley.
From
Yes,
from
like
Alien?
that.
Oh.
She's on my ceiling.
Well,
Because I watched Alien 2 the other day again after like a long time. And do you know how much Ripley goes through to kill all of those aliens? Like, and she saves Newt.
but she's got to clean up the kid after she wipes one little piece of her. Then she has to wipe the rest of her clean because she made a clean spot. I remember that scene.
Yeah, but that just all she defeats all of these aliens, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna be badass and muscular too.
But how likely do you think you are to encounter any situations that require you to use this physical strength to defeat enemies?
The apocalypse might be coming. You don't know,
Well, that's true.
right?
But
Yeah.
if for example, you had
The end of the
choice
world.
to prepare for the apocalypse or to prepare for, say, retirement, which do you think would be more likely to occur?
I'm not gonna prepare for retirement.
I'm not
I'm
either,
gonna
so
prepare
we're on the
for
same page there.
exciting, inevitable.
I mean, it might, we might see
What
Armageddon in our
about
time.
living in the moment?
I think it's reasonable to think that we might see
I've got time before retirement.
some very interesting times, especially you. What are you, like, mid-20s?
I'm 20 years old.
You're 20. Okay, well, I mean, you got a lot of
Yeah.
years left. You could definitely see some interesting times. You got all the I mean, I got a fair enough. I plan to live as long as you. Now, when you're 80, I'm going to be 117. Is that right? No.
Well, that's
I'm
possible.
I'm going to be 107. I'm going to be 107. When you're 80, I'm going to be 107. We could both easily live. I could live to 107.
Yeah. That's true.
That's true.
So, when the apocalypse happens, do you want to be in the same group that like makes a one of those underground shelters and dictates everybody and like tells people what to do and gets all of our nutrients together and stuff?
I mean, I would like TWFP to figure out it's coming like a couple weeks in advance for us all to meet someplace where there are some naturally pre-dug underground bunker holes, so we don't have to do a whole lot of work. Some sort of cave system.
Yeah.
And then obviously we stock up before we went in there. We'd have to make sure we got a lot of drugs and alcohol for people who drink, not for me. Because you're going to be in there potentially for a long time. So, you know, we're going to have to get some food, I guess, too, and some water and stuff.
Yeah, I think it'll be fine, but we gotta like get in shape now and like ready.
Well, we should start looking for sleeping
I want to be
bags
able
at
to
the
run
thrift store.
10 miles.
Okay, next time you go to
What?
the thrift store, look for a sleeping bag.
Hey, listen, that's not the top of my priorities right now is a sleeping bag. That's not... I don't need a sleeping bag right now.
Okay, but when you're in the cave
I've got
and the
blankets.
apocalypse has happened and you've got a choice between the cold stone floor and the cold stone floor because you didn't listen to me and get a sleeping bag, who's going to be regretting it then?
Or what if it's not that kind of apocalypse? What if it's a robot takeover?
We'll still be fine in the caves. We're going to go, there's a place in Oregon, right on the Oregon-California border that's got all kinds of caves. We'll go there. Go in the caves.
Okay.
You like caves.
So when this happens and we don't have any internet connection, that's where you'll find me. Okay.
Okay, well,
The
listen.
caves.
Yeah, we're making a plan ahead of time, so if we lose communications, we'll still know where to go.
Exactly.
Okay. But once there, all I should
What
have
is the
set up...
name of this place?
I have to look it up. Hold on. Let's see. What's that place in Oregon with all the caves? That's what I'm going to Google.
No, but I'm not kidding. Like, I'm gonna head there, and
Okay.
again, we're not gonna
I'm not kidding either. I'm not kidding either.
Okay.
What's
Because we're not gonna have Wi-Fi.
the place in Oregon? Oh, it's Lava Tubes. Lava Tubes. That's what it's called.
Lava Tube?
Lava Tubes? Lava Tubes, Oregon. Okay. So, it's called... It's in Bend, Oregon. And it's the Deschutes National Forest Lava River Cave Interpretive Site. Or 10 Caves in Oregon for an underground adventure. Down and dirty. Exploring the lava tubes of Bend. Okay, so you're going to Deschutes County.
Yeah, we'll meet at the Lava Tubes Bend. Specifically the Bend.
We'll meet
Because it
in
sounds like a big place.
Bend, Oregon. I've been there. I've been to Bend, Oregon. It's not that big, but we'll meet there, okay? We'll meet at the sign where it says, Welcome to Bend.
Okay.
And from there, we'll head to the cave.
Deal. I'm not going to forget that. Don't
Okay.
forget that.
Yeah, don't forget that one. Because when it comes time for the apocalypse...
Now, when is the point that we're, like, qualifying it as an apocalypse? When the robots are coming, they shut off a map quest, and they take all of our electronic
Okay,
abilities
well,
away.
look, assuming it's not too sudden, I will put up a video announcing this is the apocalypse. So that's how we'll know.
Okay, but don't tell people to go there because then they'll
Oh,
know
no,
where to
no.
find
Oh,
us.
no,
Just
no.
say,
No. That's
I'm
only...
considering this an apocalypse, and then I'll see it, and then I'll be like, okay,
Right,
this
no.
is
It's
wrong.
only for people who know in advance already. It's not for newbies.
Okay.
It would be like,
Okay.
Official channel business. This is the apocalypse. Those of you who in the know, you know. And then that's it. And then it's just, I'm off to Bend.
Okay, good. Yeah, tell your loved ones that that's the place, because that's where I'm headed.
Right. Okay, so that's good.
Bend
We've resolved what we're going to do in the apocalypse. What I'm going to do right now, though, is I have to take a bath and get ready because I'm going to the symphony tonight. Two of my clients are
nice.
They play for the LA Philharmonic, and they gave me tickets to tonight's show at Disney Concert Hall. So I gotta go put on a suit and stuff and
What?
go to the symphony.
That's so fancy.
I know, Tchaikovsky. Pretty fancy, huh? He's Russian. Anyway, thanks for being here. I'll see you later.
Yeah,
nice chatting with you, Maria.